Hello and welcome to that time of the week. Yes, it's History Boys. Fun facts. Well, fun facts with Liam. Sorry, been drinking a bit. Um, anyway, yeah, just so people know, I'm not an alcoholic. Anyway, had that out of the way. Yeah, it's that time of the week. Friday. Fun facts, all in one at a time. Videos, 4 videos in total. Um, yeah, fun facts every Friday. So, yeah, episode 1 of this week is going to be about Neanderthals, or rather, what they did, the professions and stuff like that. Now, of course, there's been this long-standing stereotype that Neanderthals were like barbarian, nomadic, thick kind of peoples, but kind like I mentioned in my cave lion episode of obscurities, they were actually quite an innovative bunch, really strong, but basically lack of wanting to go anywhere and inbreeding and stuff like that, and also into on a quotation marks pure species kind of level. They kind of bred themselves out by well, some of them. Well, I say some of them in comparison to the millions of Neanderthals there probably were. Um, Probably tens of thousands of them interbred with other mankind of our mankind subspecies. So yeah, the purity thing, they kind of died out that way, and also there was disease and stuff because they also say that um, people who suffer from bad habits like smoking, drinking, have diabetes, have anxiety, curly hair, all the rest of it, it's supposed to be partly Neanderthal traits. So thanks, great 50 times, 500 times granddad and grandma. So yeah, so this is probably the true oldest profession. Now, of course, some of you may joke that all know the oldest profession. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, as they say in Monty Python. Um, but I think was it Eric Idle? Yeah, I think it was Eric Idle who did that bit. Anyway, but actually, it's basically the oldest profession apart from discounting early proto-farming, probably with the Australopithecus, and looking for roots and tubers in the soil. Well, foraging. Actually, foraging. Yeah, foraging. Foraging is probably the oldest profession, but one of the oldest, or the second oldest, would be the butcher trade. And it's a nice coincidence that I'm talking about the butcher's trade, because I've been watching a quite a good Blighty series that's on every now and again. You can catch up on Together TV for those of you from this neck of the woods and probably Ireland, and I'm not sure if you get it elsewhere, maybe Australia or something like that, and New Zealand and South Africa and maybe Canada. I don't know, but yeah, Together TV is that farm series where it's different time periods of how farmers um you know lived, and it's quite interesting. And there was a butchery bit in Edwardian Farms episode today where it was quite satisfying to watch. Especially it wasn't like a local butcher's thing. It was actually depicting what what some of the men did on farms in those days, where they would cut up their own livestock. Anyway, butchery as a practice arguably goes back at least 70,000 years, when some of the earliest Neanderthals were around, and I'll obviously include all the source stuff of where I get this from and so on and so forth. But there's been archaeologists sometime discovered a kind of a community kind of pit, kind of it's somewhere in a cave network, outside a cave network in Poland, and they figured out that they were basically like essentially a butcher's shop. They where they arguably sold cuts of mammoth meat, woolly rhino meat. I'm not sure if they probably might have killed bears, but mostly big herbivore animals. So, and when I was reading this, it kind of rang a vague bell. There was something similar on some DMAX or Quest thing where they were studying the lives of Neanderthals and tombs and stuff like that. And it may have been in Poland, it may have been in America somewhere, just anywhere where, or Germany, somewhere like that, or even somewhere in Siberia, Asia kind of area, just anywhere where early modern man kind of set up a kind of like a workshop, which is like is the subject of this episode. It turns out being a butcher is one of the oldest professions there is. Goes back tens and tens of thousands of years before any recorded history we could find. Because, like I say in one of my playlists, prehistory is still history. Always has been. That's pretty much it for episode 1 of this week of Fun Facts with Liam. And remember to subscribe, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to be doing the second episode shortly after this. Peace.